Hi, I'm Michael Bean, and this is your free acting class, myfreeactingclass.com lesson for Tuesday, August the 25th, 2020. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get a talent agent. I'm going to quickly cover resumes, and I'm going to show you an example of a before and after resume from a lesson that I did back in April, and one of my students brought in her resume and was kind enough to have let us look at it in the very first version. Now, if any of you have a resume that you want me to look at as part of this lesson, you could email it to info@myfreeactingclass.com, and if I have time, I'll pull it up and we can use that as a real-time example. If you do send me a resume, please block out your phone number or email address on it so that I don't have to sort of quickly do that before I screen share it with everybody else. Because otherwise I'm recording this and putting it on YouTube, and I don't want to be like, and this is Christina's email, because all sorts of reasons that's a really bad idea and I don't want to do it. Not that creepy people watch this video, but who knows, maybe at some point it'll blow up and then all of the strangers from the internet will want to watch everything from the archive. I'm going to do some promo for the My Free Acting class lessons this week, and so we'll see if that lures more people in. I've got casting director Alistair Abel coming in on Friday, so if you can join us on Friday, please do. I just found out yesterday after the lesson. So he casts for voiceover. He used to help Sean Milliken, and so he's got tons of experience. Commercial casting, he may also still do that. He also casts for voiceover, motion capture, and performance capture. One of the guests that Kirsten brought in, a producer for voiceover work, a couple of months ago, mentioned him, was like, oh yeah, we always go to Alistair for all of our casting. And I was like, oh, I've got to talk to Alistair. And then I ran into him in person. I was like, hey, did you ever get that email I sent? He's like, yeah, I saw something. And so of course I followed up with him. He's coming. So yay! That'll be the first commercial casting director, and also the first that we've had as a guest here, and also the first person who I've interviewed who does auditions, who is a casting director for motion capture and performance capture. We've talked to producers who do that work, but we haven't talked to a casting person who does that work. So I'm really excited to find out a little bit more about that, and in addition to other things. Sue. That's our guest. Also, I want to keep putting it out there that the sample scene that I'm hoping that we get enough of them by Monday to have a special lesson where we just go over the details. I'm going to put the link in right here. It's a scene from Heartland. If you are, there it is. There's the link in the chat window right now. There are two characters, a younger character, Georgie, who's a runaway, and the older character, Amy, who can either be a teen or an adult, and I would love to see some versions of that scene. Just record it, put it up online anywhere, with any title that you want, and just email me, info@myfreeactingclass.com, with a link to it. And I'll make a point of watching it before the lesson, and then we'll go over it, and maybe specific moments in the scene and give notes. But it's a way for you to get the practice, even if you're not in a weekly acting class right now. Okay, I'm going to be dependent on your good questions to drive today, because otherwise I'm just going to keep talking and talking and talking, and Caden will go to sleep. Really, there's so much information in the document that I'm going to show you that I could just read the document to you, and that would take half an hour. And I don't think that's probably the best use of any of our time, considering y'all are competent readers. And so so here is the How to Get a Talent Agent by Michael Bean. Coming up, it is, there it is. Everyone. So there's the document right there, the How to Get a Talent Agent document. Let's just jump in with a quick reminder of the different roles. I used to do this every week, and I haven't done it for a while, so some of you may not have heard it, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but just sort of a reminder of what that actor's food chain is, which is you've got the producer, and usually it's producers at the very top. They control they're in charge of the money, which means they make the final decision. Then you've got the director. The director is an artist. They're in charge of the story. And so that means that they're the one who is interacting with the actors and they have influence over casting, but usually the person who's in charge of the money has the final decision because they're in charge of the money. There's often as many as 11 producers, and almost always there's like 2 or 3 or 4. So much money is involved in making a professional film or TV production. Like as soon as you're looking at $1 million, which you are for like even a, like low budget indie film, a lot of the time, at least if it's going to be aired somewhere, right? $1 million is like, low budget, so you got a couple of people looking after that. Then producer, money, director, story. Then you've got the casting director. They're right in the middle. They're in charge of the auditions. That's the only thing that they're in charge of. They choose who comes in for an audition. They do not choose who gets cast. Then you've got the talent agent. Talent agent is a professional marketer who's only got one product to sell. They're a person who sells actors. So they're like, buy my actors. Do you want my actors? Hey, you should see my actors. I've got these great actors. Look how amazing they are. I've got this actor. Her name's Eve. She's really great. Let me tell you about her. Here's her resume. Please see her for auditions. Please, please, because then I can eat. Talent agents only make money if you get auditions and then book work. So they're not doing you any favors, by submitting you for auditions, and they're submitting you for everything they think that you have even like a reasonable shot of auditioning for and booking because they want to eat. So any actor who you ever hear say, oh man, my agent isn't giving me enough auditions, they don't know what they're talking about. And that's a great opportunity for you to either go, oh, that person doesn't know what they're talking about. I don't need to listen to them. Or if you're feeling more kind, to go, tell me more about that. This guy who I've been watching online says that talent agents don't decide who gets to audition. What are your conversations with your agent like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But just like really, if you want more auditions, don't go to your agent and say, how come you aren't getting me auditions? The conversation always needs to be, what kind of things are you submitting me for? Who's saying yes, who's not saying yes? If they're not saying yes, what can we do about it? And there are lots and lots of different answers to that question. So it's always in the relationship with the talent agent. And then the last step is you, the actors. Actors are responsible for themselves and their materials. That's why we're going to talk about resumes today, because part of you being responsible for yourself is your materials. So producer, money, director, story, casting director, auditions, talent agent, selling the actors, actors themselves and their materials. Okay, that's sort of the actor's food chain. There's lots of different ways to look at it, but that's from the actor perspective, that's what you're looking at. And then I don't know, like then our acting teachers kind of like sort of over here somewhere in the cheering section where they're like, rah, 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 yay, go actors, rah, like that. I'm also an actor, so I also, I'm wearing this hat, which hopefully, gives me a little bit more empathy for all of the hard parts. Let me show you this document and just skim through it. And then if you have specific questions after I've skimmed, then I can go back and talk about more of those things in detail. So this starts with, I put you a link in the chat window. I called this, How Do I Get a Talent Agent? I wrote this back in March. I have not edited it extensively since then. It's a pre-COVID document. I reserve the right to change anything in here with no notice. But the basic principles are still very solid. So there's a list of talent agencies. I wrote this specifically for kids and teens. So there are several excellent agencies that are not on this list because they do not work with kids and teens. Performers Management is one. Oh gosh, I just have less contact with them because I've been running a kids and teen school for a very long time, and I've only been teaching adults for the last 3 years. So this is the name of the agency, Carrie Wheeler Management. They're just alphabetical. It's not in order of awesomeness because I was like, I don't even want to go there. And if you're a talent agent watching this and you're like, I'm an amazing agent and my name's not on this list, then email me. I'm just going with the people who have actually worked with their clients and I know and can say like, yeah, I've seen them do good things for their clients. So Carrie Wheeler, the number is how many agents they have listed on Imdb Pro, right? Carrie Wheeler is a boutique agency, meaning that she's got a small roster she's looking after directly. Whereas you can see Lucas Talent is one of the largest talent agencies in town. They have 12. different agents. The characters, at least the largest one here on this list, you can see that they've got 28 different agents working there. Look at their website, see what they want. So Christine's question was like, how do I get in touch with them? Their website will tell you. It will just say. Right, there's 115 licensed talent agencies. This is how you get a list of the whole list. So if you're like, but I met this person and they seem really awesome, are they a real talent agent? This is how you would know. You would go here to this list and see if they're on there. There are some smaller agencies or agencies that are like newer, meaning they've only been around a couple of years, that I might not know about. That doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that they're not on this list. This is where you would go to find if they're licensed with the province of BC. How do I know which one is best for me? It's really about trust, right? You have to trust that that person who's supposed to be marketing you is giving you honest feedback. Is saying, yeah, I'm only submitting you for one line because I'm not sure that you can go out for that bigger stuff yet, and I want to work up to that. And if you don't have a relationship where somebody can say that to you, I would say that then trust building with your agent is the thing that you need to do. But if they're like, no, it's fine, I submit you for everything, and you're like, not sure if I believe you. That's really the problem then. There are going to be ups and downs. And we talked to Amy Farrington on Friday, and Amy's the lead on a show. She's living and working in LA right now. And she confirmed the thing we've heard from lots of actors, which is that there's ups and downs. Julie Patzwald, who taught at my school for a while and was a personal friend, the fantastic actor, she's passed now. But she won the Leo, which is the sort of BC award for best actor. She won best actor 2 years in a row, I think, and then she did not work at all for the subsequent 2 years. Where she auditioned, she was pinned, she didn't work at all for 2 solid years. And that's after all of the sort of folks who make those decisions being like, "You're amazing! Here's an award to show how amazing you are." Still, right? Like, wildly unpredictable. So small roster, there's great things about it. Or small roster, a roster. I think I wrote like a couple of things where, so trust, excitement. We want an agent who believes in you, because basically they have to hustle, for you so much. Even if they're just doing their regular job, it's still a lot of hustle. Small roster means they don't have too many agents. Some of the agents that are not on this list, there's one out in the Valley that I will not name, that, they have hundreds and hundreds of people on their roster. They're mostly an extras agency, and then they do a little bit of principals, work. And I'm not disparaging extras agencies. I'm just saying they're different things with different jobs. You want an agency with a small roster. That means they're going to be selective about signing you up, because they have to eat. And if they're only representing 50 people, I mean, think about it at some point. If you want a little like multitasking here, and you're okay doing some math, think about, okay, what is a living wage? Like, how much does it take to live on? And an agent only takes 15% of what their actors make. And then they have to pay all of their expenses, and like for the office and the admin, and if they've got a receptionist, out of that 15%. So how much do those actors need to make every year for an agent to be able to eat? And it's a lot. It's a lot. And so what that means is that in that roster of, say, 50 to 80 people, some people need to, in any given year, some people need to be making a whole bunch of money, right? They need to, be working as that guest star. They need to be doing 2 weeks on as the lead in a movie. They need to have a recurring role in a TV show. And then as long as a few of your people are doing that, every year, and then the others are picking up the odd, like a couple of lines or a commercial, then you're okay. Good relationships with casting directors. What do I send? Where do I send it? I hadn't scrolled down far enough, to see Christina's question last time. So there's, what do I send? Where do I send it? It talks about how to look at the website, how to make a very simple cover letter. Cover letter really is from when they were delivered, in person, like when you would actually print up a cover letter. At this point, it's like, what are you putting in your 2-line email that you sent them? Or if you do write an actual cover letter that you put before your resume, very simple. They're not going to spend much time looking at it. Personalize them. Now, this, I may at some point, if I get flack from agents, have to take this out of this document. So get it while you can. Which is that if you get a free membership to the Imdb Pro, like it does cost money, but you can get a free membership and then just like quit after 2 weeks. Not only can you look up each agent at the agency individually and see what their roster is, which will give you like really a pro boost when you are submitting. If you say, hey, I looked at your roster on IMDb Pro, looks like you don't have anybody who looks like me or who is my age. It's not perfect because they might have commercial clients, like clients who only have commercial credits who aren't on IMDb Pro or aren't listed on IMDb yet. It's possible, but at least it shows you did your homework. And sometimes that'll give you a sense of, oh, this agent only has actors who have tons of experience, so probably they're not going to be interested in me. Or, oh, this one agent only has, like, everybody on their roster has 0 credits. And I want somebody who's got at least some clients who have more credits than me. Also, you will find each agent's direct email, on that page on IMDb Pro. Do not abuse this. The only way it is okay to submit directly to an agent instead of via whatever they tell you to do on their website is if you do it good. Otherwise, you're going to get you in trouble and me in trouble. But it's good to know that that's how you would get this information that otherwise is not accessible to you, which is an agent's direct email. How long does it take? How do they decide? I can talk about this more if you want. The agents often receive 10 to 50 submissions every day, especially the larger agencies, right, through their submission form. And so they're going to forget you exist. If they don't respond to you, they will have forgotten you exist within just a couple of months. I've seen actors, get signed with somebody in their first round of submissions, and I've seen really, really skilled actors who had a lot going for them take a year or two, right? So, here we go. Actors who agents think are marketable will get more responses right away, right? So if they look at your submission, if they look at your picture and they're like, cha-ching, then yeah, you'll probably get people call you right back. If you have an unconventional, unique, or character look, it may take several rounds of submissions before you get an agent who looks at them and says, I don't have any clients who look like that. I wonder if they're an amazing actor. And if so, I know amazing actors with unique looks who work regularly. Cha-ching! Agents want to eat. That they are still running a business. And so that's what they're looking for. It's not personal, their decision making. And so that's great because it means you can learn more about it and you can take advantage of it, and you don't have to treat them like you would a personal friend. It's not you asking for a favor when you ask somebody if they're interested in signing you. It's going, hey, I know you're in business. I'm pretty amazing. Am I a thing that you want to sell? And you're right, there's a little more to it than that. You want a real relationship with that person, but that's the base of it. It's not personal. What's the meeting look like? What do I ask? Right, I've got a list of questions, here that you can start with. I recommend just going in and being you. If you are young and going in with your parents, coach your parents before going in. One of the things I've heard from agents is, yeah, I really like the kid, but the parent seemed like a real handful. So parents need to read this document. Parents need to do some self-education. If you go in and your parents are so anxious, that they freak the agent out, then that's a problem. And of course we want supportive, engaged, involved parents. I would just recommend getting your parents on board and, getting them to listen to this video or read some of this information. Sorry, that's just my plug for like young people. Really, if it's the young person with their parents who's there for the interview, the agent wants to talk to the young person as much as possible. And then of course the parents are going to be involved with, asking important questions about, safety and, practical business things, that you wouldn't expect a young person, to know and understand. What about extras background agents? I had a roommate who was an extras agent or extras casting director for a while. And so there was an extras casting rather. And so he was like, here's a list of the ones I like, but it's just the ones I like. That's all the information I have. I have not done background work since 2002, maybe. I did it for like one summer. It was really fun, got me on set, but I have not done it since. So my information is My actual on-set experience is quite out of date. Remember that extras are human props, and set decoration can be really fun, especially for a young actor. It's also really important not to confuse extra work with professional film and TV acting. They are not the same thing. An extra is a human prop. God, I don't even know if they're casting extras right now in COVID. I have no idea what that looks like. That would be an interesting question. Resume template. Your resume is a marketing tool. It's not a list of everything you've ever done. It's a guide to help decision makers know what kind of auditions they can bring you in for and how to cast you. Don't put a list of personal qualities or age range or personality or character types. They have a photo for that. So really, they're going to look at your photo, and then they're going to look at your resume for 10 seconds. Yeah, and so there's a bunch of details here about how to do that. Recognizable professional credits go first. Skills go at the bottom. There's like a really simple resume template here, which is name, age, da da da. Parent name if you're a young person, and their phone and email. And then here's the way I recommend formatting resumes. This is not the only way. Some agents will format your resume for you. Great. Oh my gosh. But most agents will expect you to do some or all of the formatting of your own resume. I would say list film and television first as a category, and then just the title, just the size of the role, just the director, and the production company. And you keep it all on one line, and you make it super, super easy to read. So smallest to largest is actor, principal, guest star, supporting, recurring, lead. These are categories based on the pay scale set by the union. If you did an independent film, or if you did a student film, or you're just not sure, then just take your best guess. Nobody's ever going to come and bust you on it, unless you lie extravagantly. And so don't do that. I don't recommend lying on your resume, but I recommend that you don't undersell yourself. This is a marketing tool, for your agent, and to use to get casting directors interested in you. Then theater live performance, same thing. Name of the thing. And then don't put George. Just put lead. Because probably they don't know that play. And if they do, great. Then in the conversation, they can be like, oh, you played a lead? Which role were you? Were you this? And you can have a conversation about it. You can find out they love theater. Great. But if they're looking at it for 10 seconds, what they're really looking at is, were you in the chorus or were you the lead? And they're going to glance at it for a second and then move on. Right? And now if, for instance, you have a secondary school play, then what you put is name of director and then / secondary school. And if you wanted to be sneaky, let's say you went to Brookswood Secondary School, you would put name of the director, BSS. That's not lying. If they're like, hey, what's BSS? But basically they're going to look at it and go, oh, that's not a professional production company. It's probably an independent credit or a student credit or a theater or a school theater credit. But you don't have to advertise like it was school, right? You don't lie. Don't lie. Hard stop. Don't lie. Do present yourself in the best possible light using the truth. Training, and let's maybe look quickly at Sarah's resume, and then I will open it up for questions. Hopefully I haven't bored you all completely out of your skulls with this information. And those of you who are like, not only am I not bored, I'm not stimulated enough. Well, I sent the link to the document. You could have been speed reading all, 18 pages of that while I was talking to you. If you were like, I need to read and hear at the same time. Awesome. Good. Go geniuses. Not me, but let's look at Sarah's resume. So here's Sarah's resume from April 9th, which is when we first did this, the resume workshop, and I asked her to send this to me. So this was without, my input. Or I think maybe she read the document, but, and so she put role, production, director, location, but it's not clear, what she was in, right? Film and television is tiny. It's way down here. Then the training, it's sloppy. It's not one page, and it's very difficult to look at this for 10 seconds and go, where's the information that I'm looking for? There's different sizes and different fonts, and. We go down here, there's special skills. Okay, she did a bunch of ballet, personal interests, the art, nature, woodworking, listening to music. Probably if I look at this for 10 seconds, I'm going to get 3 random things. She's not controlling where my eye's going. So I'm like, oh, she was Little Red Riding Hood. She spelt riding wrong. Oh, she did a modeling workshop, and she's done some ballet. Oh, and she speaks Latvian. Right? Like, if I'm glancing at it for 10 seconds, you can't control what pops out at me. Here is that same resume with her parents' information, contact information blacked out, because I know what I'm doing. From a week later after she took that workshop. Right, so super clear. Boom, age, film and television. Lead role, supporting role. Right? She took my advice. This one's VWS, this one's CapU. Somebody from LA is just going to be, oh, cool, like 2 independent credits, 2 student credits. It doesn't matter, if this is Cap University or what. I think it's probably a secondary school. Theater, lead, recurring lead. Training, Russian classical ballet. Wow, she went to school in Latvia, and she danced with the ballet russe. That sounds very like serious and interesting. Classical Russian ballet. A couple of awards are the very last thing that I see on here. All 1 page, all very concise. This is the same information, but this I can look at in 10 seconds and see lead supporting, lead, recurring lead. She's done a bunch of ballet. Oh, and actually won a bunch of awards for ballet. Cool. If I need somebody who's a dancer, if I'm interested in need somebody who looks like her, if a casting director is only going to look at that resume if they need somebody who looks like her, right? They're going to look at the photo first. The photo is going to be the first and most important thing, because they're going to be like, for our visual product in our visual medium, what does this person look like? And then they're going to go spend 10 seconds looking at your resume. So, whew. Probably talked too fast. I know I do that when I've got a whole bunch of stuff to cover. Probably could have split it up into 2 lessons, but then I would have kind of bored myself a little bit. So you get what you get. In the last 30 seconds of this lesson, does anybody have a question about any of that? I can't believe I just talked for half an hour. It felt like nothing. Questions? Anybody? Wave a hand, throw it in the chat window. Anything that I covered here that you want to hear me talk a little bit more about before we wrap up? Okay. Well, I would love to see your resumes. If you want to do the thing that Sarah did, and take this information and the template there. I don't think I can. I don't think I can upload files here, but it would be useful for you to have a Word document, where I've got the template in Word, in Microsoft Word, and in Pages, for Mac, and I can put those up on the in the Dropbox folder, where that document is, if you want them. And a reminder, if to do that Heartland scene. If you're not in a scene study class right now, it's not going to take you that much time. You message somebody who comes to this class all the time and read with each other, via Zoom. Start practicing tolerating having it be imperfect and doing it anyway. Because if you do that, that skill will build up in your body over time. And the reminder from that Ira Glass video that I showed you last week or the week before, that's how you get through that phase where your taste, what is good work is better than your output. Where you're like, man, I know what good work is and I can tell I'm not doing it yet. Great. Just do the work, and make yourself accountable to somebody outside of yourself. That could be me, or I could be one of them. Yeah, I'm really hoping that we get enough, to do a whole lesson looking at those videos next week. And join us on Friday for casting director Alistair Abel, who's going to come in and talk about casting for commercials, voiceover, motion capture, and performance capture. Okay. How was that for you? Huh? Was it good? Okay, great.
Good.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.